BP has raised its dividend and boosted share buybacks after its profit rose to the highest since 2008. Now, the company said it will repurchase $3.5 billion of shares over the next 3 months, adding to the $3.8 billion it already bought back in the first half. Well, joining us now is Bloomberg's James Herron. James, great to have you. BP earnings, so much ahead of consensus. What drove the beat?
Well, it appears that the oil traders had a really good quarter. Again, they've had several exceptional quarters since 2010. It seems to be becoming a bit of a habit, actually. But what happened in the past quarter is that the profit margins on refining some fuels like gasoline, diesel, were exceptionally high because of a shortage of refining capacity in Europe and the US. There were these huge price dislocations, and a company with a big trading arm like BP is really well placed to take advantage of this, and clearly they did so.
So, James, BP increased buybacks and dividends. Is it offering investors better returns than its peers, actually?
There's certainly a bigger increase than its peers have at this latest round of results. Most companies increased buybacks, but a lot of the increases were more modest, at least in proportion. And BP obviously did both buybacks and a dividend increase. And the dividend increase was ahead of what investors had been expecting. It was 10% rather than 4%. So, yeah, it's doing well. I mean, BP is still a reduced company somewhat, because obviously since the invasion of Ukraine, it's exiting its stake in Rosneft, which was a huge part of its production and a major investment for it. It's still unclear whether it's possible for them to get any money for that or not. So, it's growing faster, but from a lower base than some of its peers.
So, James, is BP also using the influx of cash to boost investment? And frankly, what does it mean for the green transition?
Well, so far they're sticking to their plans for capital expenditure, which was a pretty tight plan to begin with. So there's no sign that they're really going on a big spending splurge. The company went to great pains to talk about how much it's investing in the UK and produced a very detailed document with all its plans. And I think that reflects partly the fact that, the political issue of high energy prices. We've already had a windfall tax here in the UK. Bills are set to jump a lot in September and again in the new year. So I think BP is aware of the political backdrop to this, and they talk a lot about all the efforts they're making to boost energy supplies.